Okay, welcome to the man cave. Alright. Oh, Deacon's waiting for me. Deacon's got his service dog vest on with KTM Racing. He got that patch because he got a trophy when we went to the flat track race. Isn't that pretty cool? So he got second place. Riding with me on a KTM 690. And we have a guest today. This is Ron, who rode all the way from Alton, Illinois. We're going to go down to the KTM Orange event. I went there last year. It was in Taos, New Mexico. But before I do that, I just want to show you a picture of Ron racing a Rotax at an ARMA event. And I think he was the over 50 champ for that year.
No, that's motocross.
Motocross.
I was in cross country.
All right.
Champion of the world in cross country.
Okay, so what we're going to do today, first of all, I have something that Ron does not have, and that's this kick-ass KTM apron. Alright, so I'm really ruining my jeans a lot. So if I'm working on the bikes now, I bought this apron at the KTM store, and it's got kind of a nice fabric to it, so, and some pockets on the side. Didn't notice that. So that'll help. So what we're going to do, I've had a lot of requests from people that have been watching our videos. Now that we've made all these changes, and you'll see that there's quite a big a difference between Ron's bike and the stock bike, and the changes that we made. And so we kind of evolved since I bought mine in, I think it was March of 2015, and Ron got his about a month earlier, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. In April. And then that forced me to buy a 690 because I want to make sure we can go the same places. And that was a really good decision because I really do like it. So what we're going to do then is we're going to start off explaining what changes we made along the way and whether or not we like them, and we'll compare them. So I think the very first thing that we did on our bikes, let's see, I know I wanted Deacon to ride with me, so I got a Wolfman tank bag, which I just moved from another bike, which is really good for Deacon to rest on. And these are Deacon's backpacks, and he puts his feet in here. But that's not a significant change yet, but I just want you to know that Ron is in concurrence with that. And what do you think about the tank bag?
I like it.
Would you go, KTM has a bigger one that's orange, do you think that would be better?
I don't know. If they have some up at that KTM rally, I might look at something like that.
Yeah. Well,
I could
so that's
use a little bit bigger, but I tried putting my other Wolfman bag on, but it's a little bit too big.
All right.
Too wide, too long.
Well, if I remember right, let me think. I'm really trying to, when we all got going, the videos are in the right sequence of every time I made a change. But so I would have to say one of the first thing I did is I got rid of the big mirror because I wanted to ride this mostly purely off-road, so I unscrewed that guy. Alright, there's two of them, one each side, and I put on an Acerbis mirror. Now, I like this because it's out of the way. I have a camera here for a Deacon cam that looks at Deacon, and if I had a mirror here, it might get in the way of that. It might block some of the view, and so I did get rid of that. However, the problem I have not having these mirrors is that when Deacon gets on, he has a tendency to put his paws over here, and they might work over here, or they might go this way, and he'll shut off my engine, or he might just change the brightness of the headlight or honk the horn, you know, but that's really the only biggest problem. And then I got another one of these pads off of like my Enduro bike has. Ron never did that, so he stayed with that. But when it came to mirrors, he went with, what are these called?
Double take. I think called double take.
But the mounts,
oh, ram.
Yeah,
ram.
These are ram mounts that has a mirror. And by the same reason, if you want to go off-road, you could theoretically rotate this out of the way.
Yeah, you can just loosen this up. You can put it completely out.
Okay, of course you can't see your speedometer now.
No,
but at least
okay.
you could get it out of the way.
Faster going. And another, if you're really serious about it, you can always do it like this and pack them away.
Okay.
Get
So,
rid of it completely.
We've seen other mirrors, like Ken Frazier, who's another 690. We went riding, had something that was in Europe that was like this, but he hit a branch and the mirror just broke, snapped right off. So I'm not too sure which one that was. He may want to reconsider his. I kind of like my Turbis. It gets out of the way. I can look under my arm, and that works out really well. All right, I think the next thing we did, was it the skid plate? Why not?
Yeah, I got a lot of them at about the same time.
All right.
So.
Well, let's talk about skid plates. Now, on my 500, I bought a carbon fiber skid plate for it because I didn't like the aluminums that I'd had on a Suzuki DRZ 400 at one point. But Ron got this one right out of Kansas, so it's right in between where Ron lives and I live, Flatland Racing, and mounted it up on the same exact mounts. So what do you think about the install? How did you like that?
I think it's great. I like it.
Any background noise that you're getting from it that's annoying?
If it is, I don't notice it. No.
Because you have bad hearing?
Yeah.
Well, Ron and I are both over 67, 68, somewhere around there. So maybe our hearing loss isn't bothering as much, but I know on the DRZ the aluminum mount really was a problem. So this Flatland Racing actually was probably the best bang for the buck. You could, how much was it, do you remember?
I think it was around $99.
Yeah, and you could actually get it in orange anodized, although the picture I saw that the welds were different color than the aluminum because the welding material is a different alloy compound than the actual sheet that they use to make it. Okay, now in my case, I like the idea of carbon fiber, and I took a different tact. I took the stock plastic KTM 690 and added wings to it using carbon fiber. So I laid this guy up with carbon fiber on both sides, used the same stock mounts, all I did is put it on top of that and added a little KTM decal, and so far it's working really well. There's a couple places where my carbon fiber, and I topped it off with a layer of fiberglass as well. So look at that video and you can see what we did there. And that's the bottom side. It seems to be doing pretty good. I've gotten hit a bunch of rocks, no problems. Everything's doing well. Okay.
On mine, to protect the engine cases, I got these plastic covers from Twisted Throttle.
Okay.
And they're like 4mm poly or something or other. And so I put those on over the top of it. I wouldn't advise getting them because they don't really fit the Enduro R. Therefore the Duke.
Okay.
And the main difference is the way the swing arm and the brake pedal are mounted. You have to trim away material to get this on.
Oh.
Instead of being held on by 3 bolts, it's only held on by 2.
Was there also one for the other side?
Yeah.
All right, let's go look at that. So here's the stock cover. All right, that says LC4 on it, and over here, looks like it's got another little.
This one fit perfectly because it doesn't come back to the swing arm. The other one comes back to the swing arm, and since the swing arm on the Duke evidently is moved further back.
Okay.
The frame is a little different.
So I don't really see why you would need this because I don't see any rock scrapes, anything that's coming along here that would affect that.
I think you'd be more in danger of breaking your shift lever. But,
well, sometimes the shift lever can punch a hole in the side too.
Oh, is that the reason?
Yeah, if you fall on it, it can push in.
Okay.
Same way.
Well, we were kind of in a Farkle frenzy when we bought our bike, so we're just trying to think what else can we spend money on our KTMs. On mine, let's go back to my homemade job. I did extend, I used cardboard first to position it, and I went around and I covered my skid plate, or this area, which covers the alternator, up a little bit, so that will deflect any debris that's going around it.
And I actually think I did a better job than what Flatland Racing did.
But they still seem to be adequate.
Alright, now the next thing I remember you doing, you went and changed the gas cap. So the normal gas cap that's on here has a little flip lever with a key lock, and you said that because it was so flush that any dirt that got in here when you went to fill up the gas, here, open that up. Go, Ron. There you go. All right, so this particular part is made by CJ Designs. All right, so any dirt that gets on the top here, when you open this up, you've got these pipe end that basically, and it's billet the way they make it, that keeps the dirt from going on there, so you can stick the nozzle in, and you can see down about an inch or two, that's where when you're full. On the other one, when you filled it up, you're right at the top of the edge of the gas cap, and when you put the nozzle in, you're always overfilling it. So this gives you a little bit of delay to stop the nozzle. And then we added, so we did that on both bikes. All right, and then you get these little one-way valves, and as I'm not too sure who makes that. Is that also a C&J design?
I don't know. You can get several different manufacturers.
So it basically allows the air to come out, or the air to go in, but no gas to come out when you fall over. And I have tested that, and it does work. So let's see. The next step we did, if I remember right, oh, with the wings exhaust. All right. So since I don't have any baggage on mine at the moment, here's this wings exhaust that came out of Serbia, and it was, what did we pay for that? Slovenia? Slovenia. Okay. So I think this cost us $430.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And I couldn't believe it. We got this thing within 2 days after ordering it. It came over in special courier. I think it was $60 shipping. But man, you got it right away. And it's got some carbon fiber on the end. Has a nice mellow tone. But the biggest thing is it weighs 5 pounds lighter than the stock muffler. So we both have the wings, and that's one of the things we recommend to almost everybody, is to put this particular one on. We have absolutely zero experience with the FMF style, which costs a lot.
I looked at those, but at the time, I couldn't get anybody to tell me it would fit a 2015.
Oh.
So I contacted this guy, and he said, no problem. So I said, okay.
Well, the really cool thing, when you got this, he also sent you a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And a pen and some other stuff. Really nice guy to work with. I think, you know, for being that far part of the world, it's kind of nice to support them too. And so that was nice. But I didn't have too much trouble. I do remember we had to pull the white piece off, lift that out in order to attach the this mount right up in here. All right. So, but it went on really well. The existing heat guards work just fine on there. And so I think the next thing, since we're talking about stuff from that part of the world, is racks. So Ron had gone with a rack from someplace, and it's a little hard to see, but it's a tubing, a round tubing with, is that bolted or welded on? With a flat plate.
The flat plate, yeah.
Okay, and you paid how much for this?
I think it was around $100.
All right,
something like that.
But if I remember it, you had a lot of trouble getting it, and it was someplace.
I didn't have trouble getting it, but I have buyer's remorse. This one is steel, and I found out later that they make an aluminum one.
Oh.
I'd rather had the aluminum one because of the weight.
I see.
I've got the steel one, so.
All right.
And it's nice because it's got nice big handles on it.
Yeah,
like
one of the things you take off when you put a rack on your bike is that the 690 comes with handles so that your mates can lift you up when you fall over. So if you're looking for a rack, it's nice that it has this. You have to give them some sort of place, some purchase that they can lift up on it. Now on mine, I got mine out of Serbia, and the person who I bought it from, I think I just ran across the video on it, but it turned out the guy making the video is also the guy who makes the rack. So it was P Run Moto, and really great guy to work with. And so he had this basic rack that you would take your handles off on these 2 points, and this thing is all aluminum, and it's almost 4 to 5 millimeters thick. It gave you these little shock rubber mounts and these aluminum spacers to make this thing fit. So, and the thing I liked about it, it's the same contour as the fender. So in my aching bones, when I'm sitting there trying to take my leg over it, there's not much to hit. So that was a good thing. And that's if I'm riding this more off-road, more single track, not normally say dual sport. So this was a good thing. And then he also, because so many people saw this video, he decided to send me this part, which goes on top of it. And Ron, what do they call the gas cans that have this quarter turn quick release thing?
Rotopacks or something like that.
Yeah, they call Rotopacks?
Rotopacks,
yeah. So this is designed for that big square extra gas that you carry if you want to carry an extra gallon or something.
This is cut out for the adapter for it. And you put the adapter on, and then you stick it has a hole in the center of it, and you put the Rotopacks thing on it, and you give it a quarter turn, and it snaps it in.
Okay. And so these are, by the way, these are water jet. So they're like within 5,000ths of being right dimension, and I got some sort of powder coating on there. But I really like this. It's out of the way. If I'm just doing single track or trail riding, he gives me enough slots here that I can grab things on. And plus, if you do fall over, even though the edge isn't rounded like the tubing, my mates can grab this real easy to help me pick up the bike. Either, I guess they'd have to do it over here. But that's one advantage of the round one. It gives you a better handhold. So we'll set that aside.
Yeah, I just wish I had gotten the aluminum one instead of the...
All right. Yeah, these are super light. So I think take Ron's advice.
That one's pretty heavy.
All right. And that was one of the reasons why you bought the wings, right? You'd lose weight on the bike. Yeah. So we were going from heavier bikes into lighter bikes, and we wanted everything light. Now, so we're going to discuss luggage a little bit later because that was the last thing on the list of our luggage preferences. But one thing we did do is we got rid of the canister. Let me grab a bag up here that has everything that we took off this bike and more. All right, here we go.
Bag of takeoffs.
All right, so this bag I think came with my KTM helmet. So we could just dump some stuff on here for now.
You're going to pick this all up.
Somebody.
There's the canister. Oh my God, you didn't take this off, did you?
I did. None of my dirt bikes have that, so
There's
don't lose the hardware.
Here's the thing. Here's the tank stuff.
Okay, so there's this canister. That's part of the handlebar mounts. Okay, so there's this smog canister we took off, and that was mounted Where in the heck was that?
Right here.
That was up in there. And so they call that a canisterectomy. And you pull that off, and let's see. There was something to do with the wiring. We had to put a resistor in here.
Yeah, there's a resistor.
That was right up in there.
Sensor.
And we had to put a 22K ohm resistor across that terminal, put some shrink wrap around it, and then fool it so the computer would still think the canister was there.
If it's unplugged, the computer doesn't like that, and it will keep flashing a warning light.
Oh,
So
okay.
you put that resistor in there, and then it fools it into thinking that it's still there, and so it doesn't flash.
Wonderful. All right, so we both did the canisterectomy, a pretty popular change. The next thing we did on this part of the engine is we put in here's the fan temperature sensor, which normally turns the fan on about 210 degrees.
Yeah, 212 something.
212. All right, and we went to a one that goes right here. You look again. Look at the video. It's right up in the up there, and then it turns on at 190. So your fan turns on. At least let your bike run cooler in traffic or when you're on the trails. So that's a good thing. Look at that video. And that was like a about $38 change I got from AutoZone or Napa, and it came off of a Geo Metro 1998 Geo Metro.
98 or 93?
93.
Geo Metro LSI or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right. So check that out. So we did that.
It's a fairly common Suzuki switch.
Okay. Now, another thing, we just took off our buddy pegs. That saved some weight. And by the way, here's the little handholds that come with the, that comes on the back. And that goes away once you put your rack on. All right. Oh, and here's the stock gas cap and its parts. They got replaced by the C&J design. All right. Now this part, is that, oh, that's part of the canisterectomy?
Yeah, that's the valve for the canister.
All right, so that's part of this guy. That went away.
The wire
And that's
hooks-
where,
yeah, right there.
okay, so that's where that wire hooked up that we did the 22 degree. So you recommend that change still?
Yeah.
Any problems with the bike running without it?
No.
Nope. How many miles you got?
3,000 something?
3,000 miles. All right, and I've been riding at 12,000 feet with mine. No problem. No change. No harm. Also, again, here's the mirrors. I got rid of those. I took off the chain guard simply because all the other dirt bikes I got don't have them. Hold it.
You missed it.
Why do I have a chain guard? Oh,
Did that come off your 500?
yeah, that must have come off my 500 because the other motocross bikes didn't have it.
Well, get this
And even though it was a
out of
street
here.
legal, yeah, that should be in that 690
We
bag.
don't want it polluting our
Oh, well.
690 stuff.
My bad. All right, then they also come with, when you put the, okay, when you take off your, those foot pegs, right? KTM gives you these little plastic guys right here that are your heel guards. And that just, you know, keeps your heel away, your boot away from being messed up with a swing arm. And as you can see, Ron took advantage of it and used that to tie down his luggage. Now, I didn't think about that. When I did mine, I went to the frame, but I like that so much better. But when I bought my rack, Nicola, I think is his name, at P-Run Moto, sent me these aluminum ones that he had made up. And so I took these off, mine off, and put these on. And they provide a nice, good place for the strap that is not plastic and will eventually, I think, pull away from it. But so that was a nice change. I went with that. I would stay with that. Go with these guys because they do fold it out, your straps and everything, a little bit later. Now, let's see. While I'm down here, what else did we do? Oh, motor related. We both did the dongle.
Yes.
Okay, so the dongle Here, hold that for me.
Okay. Oops.
Yeah. Let me pull my seat off a little bit. So I can hold this up. But here's my paperwork that I've got with some double-sided sticky stuff. Anyway, the dongle is sitting right
There and down there.
and this is it right here. And so when you put that in, there's this dead connector. It doesn't have anything going to it that fits down inside this area.
That's
Yeah, and that little hole.
diagnostic port.
Yeah. So the dongle fits in where your diagnostic port is. Now the advantage of that is is that if you don't like the ABS as a dirt rider, as a street rider in rain and snow, both front wheels when you first turn on the bike turn on ABS, and generally you'll get a little light here that says the ABS is on. But if I was to hold that, that's both front and rear. But if I was to hold this guy down, that would start flashing on the stock bike, and then that means you don't have any ABS at all. So there should have been a compromise, and so the dongle basically allows you to have an ABS on the front wheel, and where the rear wheel is locked, so you can drag it down the road if you're going down a steep hill. And that's all operated on my bike with the standard operation is that if I turn the off switch on off and then I turn the switch on, the ABS will be on all the time. And when I go to turn on the engine, you'll see the ABS light is on all the time. And then if I push the button down, okay, we're back. I had to change the battery. So we were talking about ABS on the stock configuration. When you first turn on the key, and this switch is in the off position, and then you go to turn it. If it's in the off position, you turn on the key, and then you turn this on, then you're in full ABS. And then you turn off the ABS by holding the button down, and the light flashes, and there's no ABS now. However, if you turn off the ignition switch, and over here you turn the kill button to on when you start, and then and that's normally when you want to leave it for dirt track riding, then turn this on. Now what happens is the front has ABS and the rear does not have ABS. So when you hit the brake, it locks up. And now you can still, riding along, you say, oh, I want to get rid of the ABS on the front. Then you go through and hold the button down, and it'll start flashing. And then now you don't have any ABS front and rear. So you can kind of do that on the fly. So I think that's a good thing. Now Ron has got a different setup. So let's go look at his bike.
For the dongle?
Yeah.
No, the dongle's the same as yours. I have a separate switch that goes different maps.
Oh, okay.
So
All right,
I've got the dongle to do the exact same thing with the ABS. But
All right.
I also have a switch up here that sets between two different maps.
Okay, so
This is always standard. Number one here is always the standard map. But when you set the dial down here for a different map, then when you switch to that, then it will be whatever you've got set down here on this.
okay, so are you in the docile mode or the
Yeah.
performance mode?
No, I have it set for mud or rain,
Okay.
the soft one.
All right, so it doesn't come on real hard.
Right.
All right, so
So I got to think about, I should have been using this one when we were doing that hill in Long Canyon
oh yeah,
with all that mud.
yeah, the
should
I
have
hate
had
mud
this one.
video that
Yeah.
everybody laughs at us.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more predictable throttle-wise. I wouldn't have had those surges, you know.
Okay.
So I should have done that, but
So what if you all of a sudden you see a big rock you want to climb? Where would you put it?
Well, you don't have to shut the engine off. But
Can you do
have
this
to
on the
stop
fly?
it back to idle.
Oh.
It has to go to idle. And then pretty much you stop, let it idle, and then flip maps, and then it will.
Okay, so let's go back here. Oop, looks like they're here holding this thing, looking at me again.
Somebody pressed on that seat a while ago.
All right.
Namely me.
Okay, what we're talking about is inside this little rubber baby buggy bumper thingy here is the, I'm going to peel this thing off, is the map switch. And you'll see that there's, 10 positions on this? But only 3 make a difference. You got 0, 1, and then 3 up to 9 do the same exact thing as 3, is the way I understand it from the manual. And so the standard position is what, 1?
I don't know.
And soft is 0. Anyway, check the video on the map switch, but that's where it is. And so this becomes an extension. You don't have to stop and change this. You can just do it from the handlebar if you think you want to get that involved on changing the terrain.
Now, I have seen somebody had one from Touratech, a handlebar switch, and you could switch between 3 different maps.
Okay.
But that's not the one I've got. I've got the KTM one.
All right. So, let's see. Moving on. Here, grab the deflectors. The bark busters. All right, so these are the stock bark busters that come with it. And these are, go ahead and bend that for them so they can see it. All right, you can see how flexible that is. Well, when Ron first came out here, the very first time I go up a hill, I'm standing there, I just set the bike down, I'm about ready to put the stand down, all of a sudden the bike decides to fall over without me. And I broke the lever. All right, see, so it's supposed to have a little ball in the end, and that little stress riser, it's designed to break there. Sure enough, what happened is that thing bent out of the way, allowed this, then the end of my clutch lever to break off, and that's it all broken off. So, it's not a big deal. Let's just go down to the store and buy another one. Well, first of all, there's no KTM store within 500 miles that had one of these in stock. So I rode with this cut off here, I think for the next 400 or 500 miles, did trail riding. It wasn't too bad, it was just a shorty lever, but it was different than this. So before I got a different lever, what I did is I went ahead and used the KTM Power Parts. And we got these in Grand Junction on the way to Moab.
On the way to Moab, we decided that for $100 a pop, we would go with the guards to protect the levers.
Instead of buying it. And that was the other thing. What they're not telling you, this lever is $101 from KTM. So we said, rather than just get another one, maybe break it again, we'll just get better guards. And now we've got the right one protected. And the right one doesn't, maybe it's only $50. So we bought these, and by the way, you can get this piece in either just black with orange, or orange with black, or orange with white. So the Grand Junction dealer only had one of each color. I grabbed this one first because I thought this might look cool. And then that left Ron with the orange one, but he got so upset. He really liked the way this looked on mine because he had orange one. I had to go buy him an orange or black one and mail it to him to maintain our friendship.
That's right. I pouted the whole time.
That's right. He just didn't like it. But that's on another video too when we're in Moab, changing the bark busters. And since this thing has gone down several times on either side, I haven't broken any more levers. Have you had any troubles with your levers?
No, I don't fall down.
All right. All right, he is king. Now, these are the same thing as Enduro Engineering, and they get rebranded with everybody else's stuff on it, so everything is fine. The one thing you have to do, though, when you put these on, the one I bought at the store, oh, here's where I got to pout, because when I put mine on, mine had this, is there a bracket over there anywhere?
I don't see one.
Yeah, right there in that bag, right there.
This one?
No.
This one?
Yeah, isn't that? Yeah, that's the mounts. Get that other mount out of there. Grab those. The black mount.
Black mount.
You know what that? No, okay, I'm wrong. It's someplace else.
These are those.
Well, anyway, the one I got had this black mount that came with the set, and what it was doing, it was pinching these cables really bad. And that's the one I bought. And then Ron, when he bought his, he got these other from, it's called Sycra.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, yeah, because we both have the Sycra mounts, and they gave us the clearance. And when I looked at his and I looked at mine and how much clearance he had, he could rotate his levers back and forth and to wherever he liked. But I was really locked into one place. So when I got back to Colorado, I went by my KTM dealer, which is Elite Motorsports up in Loveland, and I bought these, and they're marked left and right. And so you got to make sure, if you get these Enduro Engineering guards, make sure you get this from KTM. They're in the catalog. Make sure you get this chromey looking one, not the black one. And that gives you plenty of room over here for your hydraulic cylinder and everything. But while we're on the topic of levers, I think, now you didn't necessarily like the fact that, see, right now about here, that's how much clearance you got before it starts making contact with the clutch. What Ron did, he decided to give himself some more space, and he raised his lever up and he cut the ball off just flat, just like that. So if you want the lever up higher so it really is truly protected by the bark busters, you might want to do that. But you didn't need to do it on the brake lever.
No, the brake lever is short enough for some reason.
Alright, so I haven't done that yet. Both of my levers are kind of hanging down, so I may want to raise them up, do some adjustments before we go to Crested Butte and check that out. But one thing I did do, I started doing some investigation online, and I was trying to find some other levers. So I found these guys from China. They're kind of sexy looking and everything. This side is the clutch lever for here, and the brake lever, which is over here, was kind of cool what it did. Now when you put the brake lever on, it made it a whole lot shorter, almost an inch. But when I went to put the clutch on there, it ended up being the same exact length as the stock clutch lever. So I put them on anyway, and I fiddled with it. But if you look at my Hancock Pass video, every time, and Tin Cup, every time I stalled the engine, I'd have to put it back into neutral to get the engine started again. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. But what the problem was, this stupid lever, which I put in my video, when I pulled it in, it wasn't going in far enough to hit that. There's a little switch and wire in here somewhere, down in there. Anyway, and to tell the engine that the clutch was in before it allowed you to start it. So what I did find out, though, if I went ahead and moved this little lever all the way out to 6, you know, on that final last position, it started doing it again. So if you want to try these, go ahead. They're only like $25 for both of them. But I decided I'm just going to go back to stock and this time, don't fall down. I got my better guards now. I don't have the cheapy aluminum ones that KTM came up with, so I should be okay. But we'll see how that goes. I still have these, you know, and I tried, man, I spent a month communicating with the guys in China and sending pictures and telling them what they needed to do to redesign this. But since nobody really knows who makes the stuff, but everybody sells it, there's like 20 vendors, you know, but whoever the factory is, I could never find the guys who actually do the actual design stuff to tell them if they could just shorten this thing by an inch, you know, they'd have a superior product and there'd be a giant 690 market. So that didn't work out. Now, let's talk about controls when we're trying to stand up. All right, I'm coming here next to Ron. All right.
Is that looking at the
Yeah, it's looking right at us, but it's got a big, we're probably field of views. All right, so I'm a couple inches higher than Ron. So I didn't have and my legs had a longer inseam. What is your inseam when you buy pants?
About 32, 33.
I'd go for 32, and I've got a 34 inseam. But that's just enough for me to get on and off my bike. So, but Ron, the very first thing he did, and the reason he liked the 690 over buying a 500 XCW, which I was trying to get him to do, is that because this this bike has a link system. And talk to us about that. And what would be the best place to look at it?
It's the Kuba link, and it lowers the bike 1 5/8 in the back.
Okay.
So then you drop your...
Okay, let's look. That's under there. You actually
gold.
says
It's gold.
yeah.
You see it.
Okay, let me go over here. Let's look at that. All right, so you can see that a little bit better. All right, and mine is a stock. Whoops. Sorry, Deacon. Right under there, you see it's a little. It's a different length, and I think if you make it longer, it drops down, or is it shorter?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's
okay.
longer.
All right, so then that dropped it how far down in the rear?
It's supposed to be 1 5/8.
Okay, so but in order to keep the bike balanced and suspension, you need to do something to the front as well, right? So what'd you do then?
Raise the fork legs in the triple clamps.
Okay, and that was
lowers
easy
the
to
front
do?
Back down, yeah.
All right,
it's real easy.
no sweat.
You just loosen these two, and
Okay, so if you've got shorter legs, this would be a change.
I like to be able to put my feet flat on the ground when I'm stopped.
Okay,
And in trail conditions, a lot of times, you know, you don't really have that option. So the lower the bike is, the easier it is to get your feet down.
just you remember when we were talking about this link, the Kubo link? Is that what it's called? Kuba link. All right, to lower the bike down. Well, one of the downsides is, well, the kickstand then is too long, and so the bike is sitting almost straight up and vertically. So what Ron did, he actually cut off. How much did you cut off the stand here and re-weld it? Right out of the middle. So you cut out 1 inch, but he said he'd like to have cut 1.5 inches. So if you guys do this Kuba link, because you've got shorter legs, you need to cut 1.5 inches out of there, re-weld it back up. Find somebody who's got a TIG welder like I do, and have it done. If you want to, bring it by here and I'll do it for you. Okay, well, once you crawl on your bike here for a second, let's see how that has you set up.
And then when I got the seat, I got the, it's only 4 or 5 millimeters.
Okay, let's talk about that next. That's a good thought. Okay, the groans come free. All right, so you can see by once he puts his weight on the bike, the shocks and everything compress, so he's resting on there. So how much do you weigh right now?
205.
And what if you add your jackets and stuff? Do you have any idea, helmet, how much all that weighs? All right, 205. And then, so then, did you raise your handlebars up at all, initially?
Yeah.
All right, so you went to you got a lot of junk in the way here, dude.
I know.
So,
but when I went to the steering stabilizer, that raised it, but not near as tall as the other ones that I had on it.
okay. So, knowing that, so let me go ahead and stand on your bike, and I'll see if I can't. So you can see the profile, how you're.
They're just about right now because of lowering the foot pegs.
Okay, we're not there yet.
Okay.
So you had your handlebar risers up, but now it's got replaced because of stabilizer, which we're going to discuss in a second. And but that's your normal. If you're riding, you want to stand up. Is this your normal riding position? Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, so but you then also discovered, I know you bought this before me, is you bought some 30 millimeter lower pegs out of Germany. Mm-hmm. And what did we pay for those things? And they're called bear traps.
Bear traps, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what we paid for.
So now here's my bike. Now I'm taller, I have a longer inseam. I come here and hold this up.
Okay.
And back up, and you'll be able to get me a little bit far away. You'll be able to see me stand, I think, if you go back over there in the corner. So I don't need to stand on my pegs to get my bike up, but you can see this is the normal where I'm at, right?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, lift it up more level. You're pointing down now. There, just like that. Yeah. Okay, or whatever. You look at. So when I stood up, too, I still was like leaning over on mine just a little bit, and so I needed some risers, and I put some risers on, but it wasn't quite enough yet. But when you told me about the bear traps, then these come up some. When you told me about their bear traps, then I went ahead and put those on as well. But now there's a problem. One thing you have to do with the bear traps that they, when you lower the pegs, on the left side, you may or may not want to change the location of your shift lever because these have gone down 30 millimeters. And I happen to, because I just got some new boots about that time, they were a little bit bigger. I left the shifter high, and I haven't had any problems with it since. So I never even changed it. But on the brake side, you have to, in order to get this down farther so it's more level with the bear traps, you have to loosen the master cylinder and slide it backwards in order to lower this, and then you change this adjusting screw. But the problem is, if you bring this adjustment screw all the way out, it falls out of the mount. So you have to get like a, I don't know, it's about a 5 or 6 millimeter longer screw to fit in there and lock it down. And that created a problem later on for me, by the way. I was driving along at night with Deacon, and all of a sudden I pulled into the driveway. I could not push the bike into the garage. Well, the reason is this little lock nut rotated out, this screw came up, and no, actually it moved down. Every time I hit the brake, this thing would screw out, and then my brake was locked up. It was turned on all the time. Oh, the rear brake. Yeah, so anyway, so that was kind of an issue. So, but keep in mind, so if you do put the bear traps on or anything lower, you're going to have to adjust this down to lower your pegs. And so if you did something different, would you still go with bear traps?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I like them too.
Because there's not as much a bend in your leg, and whenever you stand up, you don't have to straighten your leg as much.
Okay.
So that's it. And then I did some modification on my brake lever.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Over here to help offset that. What I did is, this usually sits on top of the brake lever. What I did is I took it off and I ground it down to where it would fit underneath. And then that allows you to move your master cylinder a little further forward and bring the lever up. So you readjust it here.
So you went back to the stock bolt that was in there?
No, I just used the longer one that I had. Okay. And then see, by doing that, my little master cylinder protector protects the whole thing.
Yeah, where'd you get that? Since you're down here looking at it.
I don't remember. It was off of some website.
All right.
I forget
it's
what
orange.
the name
Is
of
it
it
plastic or what?
Yeah, it's plastic.
All right. Well, let's look. Since we just did that, let's go look at what P. Ron Moto sent me the same way, which I think is a little bit more substantial, because on mine it does cover the ferrule over here on the hydraulic line, but if we do the change that Ron says, this little edge sticking out will go in further, but you'll see that this now is bolted over here as well as through this little lock bolt that's there, and he provides the hardware for it. So that's a nice change. And here's the lever. So, you know, if I can interpret what you just said, these two teeth on the bottom you ground down. You cut this thing out or cut that in there so it would fit underneath this. Did you have to do the front too, or was that okay?
No, I think the front was okay.
Yeah.
It looks like the front's okay.
All right, that looks pretty good. Yeah. Now I have another thing from Piran that I haven't brought out yet because I haven't done yet. So, and that's a little aluminum guard that you weld on the inside of this thing, actually right across the bottom. And I have a TIG welder, and so we may do that while we're here today. So let's see now. Where are we at? We both. Oh, I don't even want to get into the headlight stuff yet, but I've got the stock headlight and things, but let's do our luggage first before we get into the super mods. Oh, the one thing, I kept the same stock signal lights on my bike, and I don't know why this is all fog. It's just dirt, I guess. Ron has got these little squishy ones, little bitty small things. So these are LED, and you did that because
the LEDs come on a little faster. This is a little. They don't stick out quite as far. They're not in harm's way as much.
all right.
These are real cheap ones here.
Okay, and you did the same thing in the rear.
Ones at the back, I had a set of these, and these are billet aluminum, so they're a little stouter.
But they're not flexible.
No.
So if you fell over, you could break something.
But it's stuck up underneath. So.
Yeah, I would say that if you look at this, these do stick out on the stock ones, but they're really flexible. And but a shorter one or a smaller that would still be flexible would be handy, because then my leg wouldn't hit it when I'm coming around and trying to put it on, or falling off, for that matter.
I had those off of another bike, so I put them on.
All right. Okay.
I always go to my cabinet before I buy anything.
All right. Now, knowing that you've done that, if you were to buy some, would you still go with these? I like these because they're rubber mounted. Would you put the same in the rear?
Oh, I probably would if I didn't have those. I'd probably put the same in the rear.
Okay. So let's talk about our luggage for a second. I would want... Oh. No, before we do that, let's talk about drivetrain and tires. So, on my bike, these both come stock with a 15-tooth countershaft sprocket. Correct?
Correct.
All right, and since I like going off-road more, Ron likes highway more because he's in Alton, Illinois. They're just in a lot of road and places he has to climb with it. I went to a 14-tooth sprocket to make me climb better. This gives me a maximum speed of 104 miles an hour. And when Ron went out to Moab, we did put the 14-tooth on. It was pretty easy. You can see the video on that. And so we were the same. But after he got back home, you went and put the 16-tooth on it, right, for more road traveling.
Yeah.
And that's a shock-absorbing sprocket. There's two part numbers, I believe, from KTM. And they only offer a 15 and a 16 for the LC4 engine on a KTM 690 Enduro.
Yeah.
So, and you went to the 16.
That's because of the swing arm mount placement again. Like with the cover here with the brakes, you know, the brake arm. It's different on a Duke. So they offer a 17, but it won't fit.
Okay. So you can get two shock absorbing sprockets. One's a 15, one's a 16 for this. Ron, because he's more of a road guy, has got the 16, and he traveled out here. He's going to put 800 miles coming out to Crested Butte from Illinois. I'm going to truck mine out to Crested Butte, so I'm going to leave my 14 on because I want to do some rock crawling. And when Ron gets there, he'll go ahead and use his handy dandy little center stand thing and change that over to the 14 and adjust it back. So that's one thing we did there. Now I still have the stock tires. Let's see how many miles I got on mine. Ron is definitely putting more miles on it. So is that is that 1606 or is that the? So I have
1336.
Oh, so that's what I have so far. And how many miles you got in yours?
Turn the key on here. I've got 95 miles on that tank. 3,420.
All right, so you've gone twice as far now. Now, did you wear out your knobbies? Is that what necessitated the tire?
Pretty close.
Okay.
We were written pretty close.
All right. So
if I went anywhere, I would have to change tires. So I went ahead and changed them before.
all right. So what Ron did, rather than do the pure knobby look, and I think these are Pirellis that come stock in Pirelli Rallycross tires, which I kind of like for the area that I live in. But since he's spending so much time on the road, he went, and this is more of an 80-20, maybe 90-10 type stuff. These are more of a 50-50 road, off-road tire. And
it's a
what do you call these things? Heidenau. Okay.
Out of Germany.
Out of Germany. Okay. So it's got that tire. How many miles you got on this so far? Not too many because I still see the tips.
Probably about
See, I still see tits here.
1500, something like that.
So this seems to be a pretty cool
They
tire.
should last a lot longer, but
Yeah.
they're not quite as aggressive.
So you see a lot of the stuff, what, like on the BMW 1200 GSs and stuff like that? All right. So he went with that right away. I'm not quite ready there yet. If I decide to go do some more road stuff, the knobbies are fine for me so far. So I don't think I would change this tire yet because I don't know any different.
You still got some use.
But I would have to say, did you notice when you first bought your bike that at 55 miles an hour, these knobbies really buzzed? They were noisy. Ron didn't notice them as much as I did, I think, because he always puts headphones for his phone, his Bluetooth stuff. I've got my helmet on, I hear everything. I hear the dog barking and everything. So I did notice at 55 it was pretty noticeable. But now that this is worn off and that the sharp edges are gone, it's quieted down quite a lot. But there's still a lot of knob left for doing some flat tracking on here. All right, so let's say we've discussed that.
Well,
I keep thinking we've something we missed in here.
The 16-tooth sprocket that I've got on this for the road is really good. It will cruise at between 75 and 80 all day long.
Okay.
As a matter of
No
fact,
buzz in your buns?
Seems like every time that you look down, it's doing 80 instead of
Okay.
75.
So there's no buzz in your buns or anything like that?
Well, I don't know. I've been riding big signals for a long time, so I don't really notice that stuff.
Okay.
I'm not sensitive to it.
All right, well, speaking of buns, the first thing I did on my bike is that, and based upon Ron, when he bought the original stock seat, he said it could go 30 miles an hour without feeling saddle sore. Or 30 miles.
30 miles.
You know?
And I came back and my butt was sore.
Okay.
And I said,
So,
this has got to go.
on my KTM 500 at Taos last year, the Seat Concept boys were there, and they put a new seat on my 500, which made a big difference because Deacon and I were riding, and we were kind of sore too. But when we got that, I had a little bit more room for my, because I'm broad in the beam, and yeah, does this bike make my butt look big? All right, so let's see. So I got the Seat Concepts now, but this is standard height. But they knew that at the time I weighed 220 pounds. And so I had to, they wouldn't recover this. I had to just buy a new seat from them because the plastic evidently on the 690 is really weak.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't warranty their seat unless we bought the whole seat.
Right.
Now on the 500 Enduros and the 450, 250s, no problem. So I got the standard height seat. Now Ron, when he got his, again, because he's shorter, he got, and you can actually see that this is a little bit smaller. So how far down did they go?
I'm not really sure. I don't remember. All I saw is that they had two different ones, so I got the short one.
Here's my finger calipers. Sorry, Deacon. And you can see right there, it's an inch lower. Now, Ken Frazier, he's another guy who's got the very first thing when he bought his 690 a couple of months back, after watching one of my videos, and he's 6'7". So Ken, when he ordered his seat, they actually added an inch above it and adjusted the durometer of the padding for his weight. So it's really great. They customize everything, and it's just wonderful company. This is like probably the first thing you should put on your bike is get a Seat Concept seat.
If you're going to ride over 30 miles, I'd suggest.
Yeah, and everybody has said that so far that I've run across from that standpoint. Now,
KTM, are you listening?
KTM. Oh, here's the other thing they did. The latest KTM catalog offers this seat by Seat Concepts, and they put KTM power parts on it. I'll show you in the catalog. So you can get it straight from KTM if you want to get the KTM stuff on it. I did have a catalog here. Hold on. I do. I got one over here. Which one is this for? That's the 500. This one's for my 690. Ready to race. Let's see if we can't find this. Here, hold that for me. Take a peek at me and my KTM Farkle. Got Ryan Dungey. Oh, this is now funny. You know, you got Ryan Dungey in the front. KTM dude. See? Ryan Dungey. Okay, up here
in the man cave, you'll see I've got, that's Ryan Dungy up there, but he was on a Suzuki at the time, and since I was riding a DRZ 400, I thought that's a pretty cool poster, and I talked Home Depot into giving me that off their wall. So let me look really fast. Oh, we got to get one of these.
An Easy Up?
Yeah, KTM Easy Up. Mine are wearing off. And I did get the KTM Pro Riders Only chair.
What about the umbrella?
We need that. Deacon has a KTM water bowl. They got all these backpacks, shirts. I think we're going to go broke down in Crested Butte.
I'm afraid so.
Did you bring lots of money?
I got my credit card with me. So.
Okay. Well, if you want to make money off a motorcycle, dude, look for a guy riding a KTM. You know, they're always carrying cash because they're, you know, keep taking money. Where is that? Power parts. Well, this is power wear. Oh, okay, really, I need the power parts book, not the power wear book. Oh well. Off-road range. Hold on. Crankshaft. Well, you guys will just have to take my word for it. Let's not waste time doing that. Okay, let's talk about some luggage. So, we both settled in on the Wolfman tank bag.
Mm-hmm. I think they call this Enduro. The Enduro bag.
Enduro bag?
I think that's what they call it, Enduro.
Okay. Now, I like it now because my Enduro pants, which we'll discuss later in another video, or as a continuation of this when we get to our riding gear, is this is now where I keep my wallet and my cell phone when I go riding, as well as spare set of glasses and 2 bottles of water, and I'll put some dog food in there too. And there's a spare set of gloves in case the other ones get wet, and that sort of thing. Oh, look at this! I never noticed that. I could put my registration in there. Yeah. All right, but I've got the registration underneath my seat. Oh, that's the other thing by the way we took off when we had this cover on. That's that big black thing right down there. Aim the camera to it. Go.
Oh, I'll just.
Yeah, see that there? So you can pick up. That goes. That's the battery cover. Come back up here. So that's the battery cover that goes on in here. And every time I try to put the seat on or lift it off, the battery cover would pop off. And it got to be such an annoyance that I even tried cutting around different little pieces, parts, and I just got rid of it. I think you did the same thing, didn't you? Or do you still have it?
As a matter of fact, I think I suggested it to you.
Probably.
You said, I'm going to do this and I done that.
Give me that camera.
And I said, I threw mine in
He's gloating. That's a gloat. See, gloat.
I threw mine in the corner of the garage. It's
All right.
not been a problem since.
All right. Well, I think Ken also did that to his. He chucked it as well. And there must be some sort of safety thing they're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, as far as handling stuff now, that's one thing. Pick up those bolts down there.
These?
You know the ones I'm talking, the tank bolts.
These.
Those guys and the other one.
This one.
Right. All right. See these guys? These are the one in Ron's right hand. Shake your right hand. That's the lower tank bolt. These are the upper tank bolts. And evidently, the guys who do a lot of desert stuff, they break these things. Mm-hmm. So we both bought.
Undercut. The threads are undercut.
Yeah, right there, the threads undercut, and they replace this with a bolt. So we started out with Rally Raid, and we replaced it. The problem with Rally Raid, let's go over here. On the lower tank bolt, see how it's sticking out there? And it's just a bolt that goes through the other side. Let me get a little bit closer. All right. And it like $100, something that you get from KTM Twins. And here's the other side. You see it's just a head of a hex head bolt that's going through there. Well, Perun Motor, Nicola, comes to the rescue again. He's got a better way. If you come looking on the stock ones, oh, show me the stock bolt.
the lower bolt. All right, you'll see that this is just a sleeve with a bolt that's threaded on one end and another sleeve bolt on the other. Oh, okay. So, okay, now we're back again. We just discussed the E12s. The question we're always asking ourselves, are you happy with what you got, and would you do something different? So we were just discussing the Scots, and am I happy with it? Yes. So far, I haven't had any major get-offs because I hit a rock or anything like that. On single track, I kind of got out of shape and kind of went over because I got out of balance going slow. Would I do this? I think if don't know if I really want the shock absorbing handlebars mounts. Maybe I'd appreciate that if I was more of a road rider, but I'm not yet. But so I'm prepared in the future, and Ron has got this guy because I told him he needed to get it if we're going to go off road. So Ron, if you had to do something different, would you do anything different?
No, I like it.
Okay, then we'll leave it at that. So far I haven't seen him fall over, so that's cool. So we just discussed the E12. For a day pack, if I ride, like I haul this in my truck, or I ride it and you get wet, things inside of it are going to get wet. Anything that's going to rust is going to get rusty. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant. It does have some sort of rubberized thing in here. Maybe I need to check the spec on it. But anyway, but it's nice and small, fits in out of the way. If I'm with Deacon and I sit on it, nothing is a problem on it with that guy. And you can put a lot of weight in it, more than I thought actually from it. But Ron, now you saw me get these. So you looked at Wolfman, you looked at their offerings, and you decided to go with these bags. And what are they called? What's the model number?
I don't know what the model number is, but they're...
You said Explorer or something?
No, these are ultralight Enduro bags or something like that.
Well,
material
wouldn't that be ultralight, or is that just a day pack, a day bag?
That's more of a day bag.
All right, but if you're actually going to travel somewhere, spend the night, carry clothes and do stuff, you need something like this. Okay, yeah, so why don't you describe your bags?
This one's a couple of liters bigger per bag.
All right.
Than yours. And the main selling point is that they're waterproof. Now, I'm not positive whether this is waterproof or not, the outside, but the inside comes with this yellow dry bag.
Oh, that's
and
pretty.
This is really handy because you don't have to take these off when you stop.
Oh, you just yank out all your gear in one fell swoop and beat cheeks in the motel?
You take this into the motel, come out the next day, and then you just...
Oh, I like that.
You just pack this stuff up in here like this, and shove it down in there, and then...
Okay.
And I don't know if it's double waterproof, or if this really isn't waterproof, just water resistant, or what the deal is. But I guess we could go ask you.
All right. So what do you keep in your yellow bag on the right-hand side?
On this side,
this is a starboard side. We're both Navy guys, right?
Starboard, yeah.
The starboard bag.
Yeah. In this one, I keep my heated vest, my heated gloves, rain pants, rain gloves, and a rain jacket that I put under my Enduro jacket, because they say that the Enduro jacket is water resistant.
Okay.
So I put this other one on just to make sure.
I see. Okay, now why do you have all your rain gear apparel and your heated stuff on the starboard side of your ride?
Because this is away from the road. When you pull off onto the shoulder of the road, this is the side that's away from the road. Otherwise, whenever you start to get into this bag, if it was all in here, the trucks would be zooming by, throwing water, close.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
so I put
it's safer.
on this side. Yeah.
Because you're not paying, and plus you might have a better chance of seeing what's coming down the road rather than having your back to the traffic.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
Especially if you start to put your pants on and you kind of stumble, you don't end up in traffic.
Okay.
So.
Do you do a lot of stumbling when you put your pants on?
Oh yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
When I used to keep it in my bag on the back here, I always put them on this side too.
Okay.
Everything that you're gonna want to pull off to the side of the road and get to, you put it on this side of the road.
Okay. Now, what about on the right-hand side? What do you got stuffed in there?
Shoes. I have my shoes in there.
Interesting. Okay, so...
Because the shoes are the hardest thing to pack. Other than the CPAP, the shoes are the hardest thing to pack.
And what's a CPAP?
That's my breathing machine for sleep apnea.
Okay. So even though you're having to carry that sort of gear with you, there's enough room in here, or with your whole system, for you to go to motels, still ride. There's nothing really keeping you from your infirmities.
No.
That's good. But that's the CPAP is in here?
No, the CPAP goes in here.
Oh, so what's in this one? On the port side?
That side is, what is in there? My shoes, my cameras, stuff like that. Stuff that I can want to get to if I like pull into a gas station or something.
Okay.
The camera, that kind of stuff in that side.
Maybe a loaf of bread, bologna sandwiches.
I've got some of these. Yeah, if you wanted to carry water or something like that, you can carry it in that side.
All right, so, and that rolls up on the top to also keep the water from soaking through the zippers.
And then it has a strap across the top to keep everything off.
Well, I see these little side straps. Where does this?
Oh, these go down here.
It all down.
These go down here.
All right, and how much did this guy cost? This set?
A lot.
How much is a lot?
Probably double what you paid for yours.
All right, and I paid about what, $119 for that thing?
More than double what you paid for
$129.
yours.
Okay.
This was right around. This whole system was around $300. But you get the liners, the waterproof liners, in with it too. So you're getting a few more pieces, and they're a little bit bigger. And I don't know if this material is a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
Or what, but
so you got your shoes and other stuff, and those are the shoes you're wearing now. Because you rode here for a 10-day ride. This bike is basically set up for a 10-day ride to Crested Butte and back home to Alton, Illinois.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's good to know on how to pack stuff. So as far as these bags are concerned, would you do something different now that you've had a little bit of experience with it?
No, I don't regret that.
Have you ever done panniers, those big aluminum boxes and stuff you see on? Yeah. What do you think of them?
It all depends on the bike. I had them on a KLR. They were a disaster. They catch too much wind, and when you get behind a truck, the wind comes around and it keeps banging them on, and it wants the front end to float.
Wow.
So.
All right. So having soft bags probably is better, good too. It's probably better because if you decide to fall over, right, you're not going to bust anything.
Yeah.
Right. So and you'll see that these bags, the way they're mounted, they're not touching the muffler. So the wings exhaust, which could melt any other gear, the way these bags are made is very cleverly out of the way. Now, they didn't make these specifically for the 690. These are for almost any motorcycle, and generally these straps go over the top of the seat. But the 690 seat is so cool because the way it lifts off, you can put this down and put it back on, and that's what I found on this one here too. Now, I don't have this mounted yet. I'll fix that a little bit later. But when it's down, it's not touching the wings, so the light never gets this E12 never gets in danger of being melted by the exhaust. So you might want to watch that. And I wouldn't change this either for a day pack if I wanted to carry extra gear. I think this is more than enough for anything I want to carry. And even with the rack, I've got the ability to use my bungee cord and strap a jacket to it if I just want to get it off. And if it gets colder on the way home or it starts raining, I can put it back on again. But you have other stuff going on. So these things are called rollies, right? Because you can go at them from either one side or the other?
Yeah, it's a double-ended dry bag.
Oh.
So you disconnect it. It has it on both sides. You disconnect it and you roll it out.
Okay.
And then you can have access to whatever's in there.
All right. Is this also made by Wolfman?
No, this is, I got this from Twisted Throttle.
Okay. I.e.
What I do is I put my CPAP machine in the center, and then I have a bag that has the hoses and the mask and stuff like that I put on the side of that.
Okay.
And then on the other side of that, I have my shaving bag And then there's another bag of stuff I put in there, but I don't.
Well, what about the clothes you wear, the extra pair of pants, your underwear,
Oh, yeah,
t-shirts?
they're in there too.
They're in there too,
They're
all
in
in
there
this.
too, yeah.
So anything you want to spend the night with, your shaving gear, your toothbrush and stuff, is all going to be in this rolly, and that's what you're going to take into the motel.
Yeah.
Everything else gets left in here.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, if I'm going to go someplace, I take the shoes out. But
Oh, the shoes, okay. If you don't want to wear your boots into the... You've already checked in the motel. You've gotten rid of the wet gear. You can put on some dry stuff. You want to dress up by taking off your boots, and then you put your shoes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's easy. You just open this up, take the shoes out, close back up. You don't bother taking everything out.
this stuff here stays in all the time, but that stuff there, I
Do you take the whole yellow bag in with you?
No,
Okay. Just the shoes.
just the shoes.
Okay. And so I see you got lots of little...
Yeah, I have a
Hooky
couple
dookies
extras
and
I
things
flip
and-
them on. What I do is whenever I put my fuel bottle on, the fuel bottle goes on the top like this.
Okay.
And I clip it on with this, so it's not going to go anywhere. But then I have my rock straps around here someplace, and they go over the top like this and strap the bottle on. I usually put it through here
Okay.
because that's the nice thing about this roll bag. It's got these, they call them daisy.
Does the Wolfman Rolly do the same thing?
I
Has the
think
same
they have
hooks?
something very similar. Yeah.
Okay. And there's also a bright yellow and a black. Do you like the black or the bright yellow or?
Well, I like the black because I have another tank bag that has the yellow, and it gets stained dirty.
Oh.
It looks...
So after a
Yeah.
while, it's just looking bad. The
Yeah,
black absorbs all the
When you
dirt.
first get it, it's great, but like 2, 3, 4 years later, it's starting to get pretty dingy.
All right. So black is your choice.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool if they had some sort of reflective tape on one side. Maybe this little logo
Yeah,
here
this
is.
is supposed to be reflective,
Oh, okay.
but it's not really.
All right. So what's under this bag?
Okay, I'll take the thing off here. This is a 1.5 liter bottle that I fill
And-
with gas. And
Okay. And what's the range?
it gives me an extra about 20 miles.
All right. So when your low fuel light comes on here, how much have you calculated? About 30 miles?
30 miles. I've ridden it 30 miles on low fuel, so I know it'll go 30 miles on low
Oh,
fuel.
plus. You didn't actually run
It
it
can
dry.
actually go a little further. Probably.
All right. And then so with that, you've got, once the light comes on, you got 50 miles left to go.
Yeah. Then I can
So I would
40.
suspect then that you've got a 200-mile range, because I've been able to go 180 miles on my 3-gallon tank on my 690. So add 20 miles to it, that's 200 miles. Is that enough for the ride you just did to come in here?
No.
No.
I would like to see a bigger tank. You know. I'd like to get up there around 4 or 5 gallons.
Okay. Well, I guess the Dakar type dudes, they do have a bigger tank.
You can buy the tanks that mount on the sides with the Dakar type things,
Oh yeah.
rally stuff.
So I guess if we were to go down to Baja or go up to the Alcan Highway to Alaska, we'd want the extra side tanks,
Yeah.
just in case there's no gas stations within 200 miles.
Usually, about 150 miles is time to buy gas.
Okay.
Because you don't want to be pouring it back and forth, out of that little bottle.
Sure.
It's a pain to do that. So
Okay.
I carry that more for emergencies.
All right.
If I come out someplace and the gas station turns out to be an extra 20 miles down the road, I've got something that can be there.
Okay.
And sometimes, like in western Kansas, northwestern Kansas, there's not a lot of gas stations out there.
I'm just wondering if getting some oil bottles like this with a small filler spout would be handy. But filling those up, rinsing them out, carrying gas in those, if they'd be strong enough not to leak on you.
I don't know. I got this one. You can get 1 liter ones. In retrospect, I might think that 2 1-liters would be better. Give you a little bit more mileage, and then you could mount them someplace,
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I just wanted to mention too that you can go to get a coffee type, one of these traveler boxes. I don't want to show the logo, but these hold 1 gallon, And but these are fine like a trip where you're going to go off in the boonies, and then when you go into it about 50 miles, fill your tank up with air, or you've gone say 60 miles, pour this in the tank, and then you can discard this, either fold it up in your backpack or find a trash bin someplace. But you don't want.
Can you hit the gas tank with that pretty easy?
Yes, but I have a technique to that. It's easy to fill up. The gas nozzle will go inside this.
I came up with this. I got this little piece of plastic.
You use that as a funnel?
Yeah, I wrap this around and stick it down in there, and then I can pour the gas in.
Oh, I see. Well, I have a better idea.
That's
That's
a lot of why I don't do it, because it's a pain in the butt to transfer the gas.
Well, let me look
but
around.
In an emergency, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Let me see. I had. Where is it?
I think they make some little disposable type.
Well, I'll show you one. Okay, so I'm going inside the trash can, and you know, this will do. My suggestion is, since I carry water bottles, I'll just use this here Coke container.
Cut the bottom out?
Yeah, and I normally carry this inside my, I don't know where the darn scissors are. Hold on a second. I'll just use this. Now theoretically, I mean, even if you had a crunched up bottle, getting splattered with Coca-Cola leavings here. But just normally use a water bottle. Alright, so now you've got a funnel, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts. See, this will give you a nice big opening to pour your gas into. And if you open that bottle, wherever it is, that red bottle.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, because you said you were having problems getting the gasoline nozzle to go in there. Open that up.
Well, it goes in, and you can fill it real easy, but whenever it gets to the top, it spews out.
Oh, because you're not very good on the trigger.
Right.
Okay, so you don't really need this then
No.
for that. But if you had something like this, it makes it easier to give you a bigger target.
Yeah.
So I've been carrying on my water bottles, which I always carry. If one's empty, I still I carry my trash out. Well, I have one that's available then, if I need it for that. So when I carry my little traveler boxes.
Here's my rain cover for the bike. They say that if you cover it up and nobody knows what it is, they're less likely to try and steal it.
Especially
I don't know if that's
if
true.
your cover says Kawasaki KLR,
Yes.
then you don't have to worry about anybody bothering your bike, because they don't realize it's really
You're
a
trying to say something
KTM in
about
there.
KLR.
I would disavow any knowledge that you even own one if I were you.
But I put this angle on here, and I painted it orange for when I'm gonna not have all my stuff.
So if like at the Crest of Butte, we're going to be there for 4 nights, you don't really need to be carrying your rolly.
No, I don't need to be carrying that.
But if you want to carry extra gas, you can do that with this. And
So what I do, I can either use the rock straps, or I've got these things that I can put around.
what are they called? They don't look strong.
I don't know what they are, but they're real. They're not slick. So
Oh, they got little
they hold-
ridges on
Yeah,
them.
they hold the things better, and you just put them on like that, and then, being paranoid like I am, I always take one down here and wrap it around this and twist it.
Okay, now on pavement I could see this would work, but what about if you're really bouncing around a lot?
Oh, it holds them.
Really? And what are these called, and where did you get them? They're
got
KTM orange.
Yeah, I know. I got these at Lowe's.
All right. Well, we'll have to do a run there tomorrow, and so I can get me some and keep them around for some reason. I don't
And
know
I
why.
got several different sizes. I got some of these small
Well, that
ones.
is pretty good. Yeah.
And I got this to where it won't slide out. I put a little thing on it. And they come in the small ones like this, and then this size, and then I've got some more that are really long.
You think Home Depot also has these?
I'm sure they do.
All right. Well, I remember when we went to Moab, I was following you behind, and this bottle was getting ready to fall off. You didn't have this system then.
I had the 2 bottles.
Oh.
Then.
Okay.
Yeah. And they kind of slid around. They weren't going to go off. They weren't going to fall off because I had them clipped on.
And you had it going through here just as a lock, right? All right. So
that's what I do for that.
how much do one of those Primus bottles cost?
I think this was around $20-some, 22, 25, something like that.
Okay.
Roughly.
All right. So rock straps are just basically a loop and a hook, and you stick it through there, strap it down. Why didn't you go through the little slot here instead of around there? That's what little slots are for.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Are you just trying to use up more of it?
It was quick. I think that might have been it, because if I did them out here, they turned out inside the hoops.
Okay, so this is the female end. The male end is just black.
Here's a rock strap.
That's the whole thing. All right. Okay.
And the way you put them on is you put it around something, and you loop the coupler through, and you pull it tight, and then you do the same thing on the other end here. Now, I've found these are new ones, and they've changed them a little bit. They have 2 loops on the bottom. This loop, so that you can get a hold of it and pull it down tight. And then there's a loop here that if you look at it, it's sewn together.
Okay.
Don't confuse those, because if you put this one around, the one that you pull on, if you put that on here, it won't tighten down.
Interesting.
Because you're pulling on the wrong
I see.
end. So.
Okay. So
they're really versatile, and the really nice thing about these, over like a bungee cord or something like that, is that you can use these. You can make your strap from this long all the way to this long.
Okay, now I remember these being pretty pricey.
Yeah, I got these off of Amazon, and 2 of them were $13.
Oh, okay. So he's right. What I'm doing, wherever it is. Okay, I got these flat bungees from Home Depot, and I got a pair of those I think for $5.99. But they don't really, they're kind of, when they're in there, you can do stuff. You can still hold in there, or you can. But you're right. Sometimes I actually have to go around the thing and back over to get everything to tighten up enough.
It seems like that you either have to go too loose or tighter than you really want to go.
Right.
With the bungee.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe at the KTM Orange event there'll be somebody selling orange rock straps. Okay. See, where are we at now? We've gone through the luggage. You wouldn't buy anything different than this. You like the black.
Yeah, I like that.
You got this. You got this rack that we show.
I might go.
You get a better view now. This stuff is off on how the rack has these little round tubes on it. And this of course is a side stand, or his center stand equivalent. Steel. He didn't like this. Actually, it's pretty thin, a lot thinner than the aluminum one I got. What haven't we covered?
It's just heavy. I weighed it and everything. I don't remember how much, but it was just way heavier than what aluminum would be, and I think it would be just as good.
I don't think we talked about your headlight stuff. So, just for grins, turn on your headlights. I'm going to turn mine on. So when you're driving down the road on a 690, this is kind of what it looks like. On Ron's bike, because he's got this Dakar fairing look-alike thing, the light switch doesn't turn on the headlights when he turns on the bike, but he did have these driving lights that he made with LEDs. So he's asking all the viewers to kind of chime in if you like it, or if you think it's too funky looking or whatever. That's what he's got.
I have mixed emotions about it.
Okay.
I kind of like them when they're on, but I don't like them when they're off. They kind of stick out.
Yeah, so when you turn it off, you can see it's just this big chunk of rubber stuff here.
They look kind of weird when it's off.
Yeah.
They look good when they're on, but not so much as otherwise.
I see. So, but what do the headlights look like? When you actually turn on all your lights, what does that do for you? There's your driving.
Here's the low beam. If I can hold the thing.
Well, that's not much.
And that's an HID.
Okay.
It needs to be adjusted back up because I got one.
Okay.
The guy sent me a new bracket, aluminum bracket inside because the other one of the tabs.
All right, it's kind of a daylight color, not a soft or yellowy like this one is. All right.
And then the high beam is an LED.
Wow. Yeah, that's a.
That's a 42 watt LED.
Okay, I'm putting this right in front of this guy so you can kind of see it. I don't know what the camera's going to do to back off on it. Now we'll move it over here. We can't see any darkness, and this is the same distance in front of there. So it probably is going to overdrive the camera. Definitely much brighter. All right, so what reason he's struggling is the little nut on his toggle switch came off. I can't even see. I got spots in front of my eyes right now. I'm going, hello.
From looking at that.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
that LED.
Yeah. So turn it off. Anyway, so he's got a little toggle switch and the nut came off, so he needs to fix that. And I might be able to help him with it.
Yesterday, the backup nut was way back down by the body of the switch, so I could just pull it out of here and flip it.
Okay.
But now, with the extra vibration, and that's just between about halfway from Lyman to here, it's vibrated out that much.
Wow.
You
All
want
right.
to turn
Did
it
we
off?
talk about signal lights? On
I don't remember if we got that or not.
all right, I've got the stock signal lights. They're kind of rubber mounted. You know, same. And Ron, because he had lots of bike parts around, decided to change his. He went to this front. These are LEDs, and they're a little bit rubber mounted. But on the rear, and why did you go with the LEDs on the bike? Because
they draw a little bit less power, which on a turn signal is, I mean, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
But they come on more quickly.
Okay.
They're instant on, instant off, as opposed to incandescent that gradually comes on.
I see. So on the rear,
it's probably not that big of a deal, but
the rears are not shock mounted. They're some sort of billet or something.
Yeah.
There's a little movement, but they're kind of below the rack and the gear, so they're probably not in the way.
now, if you do get LED lights, you have to get a different flasher, because otherwise they'll go boom, 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 boom.
And where did you get this flasher?
I had the flasher.
All right, so
I put it on, I had these on a DRZ.
okay, so if I wanted to get LED lights,
Gee, I don't know how you get something like that.
okay, can you put these kind of lights on your KTM? Did they make one that fits? I think they did. Last time we were in Taos,
Yeah.
there was a guy selling a thing that fit in the existing cowling for like the 500 and stuff that had
seen
those 4 lights.
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, so might want to go that
They're
route.
they have this one, and I don't remember if it's an HID or not, but they're compacted.
Okay.
It might be an LED low beam and an LED high.
So for if you're going to go off in the desert at night to really get some really bright lights, like when we decide to go to Baja, you're going to want to do Habla Español, mi amigo.
I need to learn in Spanish. Don't take my money.
No. Forget it. He's not really saying that. Yeah, he is. Okay, so, like KTM not taking your money?
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah. I want to get robbed at home by KTM. I don't want.
All right. Okay, so who makes this little guy?
This is made by Britannia Composites out of Canada.
All right.
And
I've seen them in black, white, and orange.
yes,
And you chose black
I like the black.
because you thought it fit in better with the
With this color
overall
scheme.
scheme. I mean, white would be interesting too. I mean, if I was to do something like that, you know, I could do a white, then there'd be some sort of differentiate of whose bike I'm riding. You know, you don't want to grab the wrong one in the morning, or after when you leave the bar. So, but it comes with this little orange treatment, and you added the white.
They send you a packet of stick-on graphics, and there's a orange one like this, and then there's a white one like this, same size as this orange one is. So what I did is I put the orange one on first, and then I cut down the white one to make an insert,
Nice.
and then I put my KTM stickers on it.
Which you actually cut out of a piece of black vinyl by yourself
Black
with
tape.
an X-Acto knife. So that's pretty
I
amazing.
just
That's pretty
took
good use.
I took found a KTM logo online, and I printed it out, and I used that as a template, put it over my tape, and then just cut out the
Okay.
thing. And then the nice thing about these is they're black during the day, but at night when lights hit them, they reflect.
Ooh. Should we turn off the lights and
They reflect silver.
put a flashlight on it?
Uh,
That's all right. Notice he's got the Colorado OHV, so he's ready for Crest Butte. He's got the Utah, so he's ready for going to Moab again. All right, so on this side, let's see. He's got all sorts of paraphernalia. He's got a standard Garmin car type,
A Nuvi,
you know.
Garmin Nuvi.
Okay, I have that in my truck too.
Did we get the?
Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to show you. Your what? Your low beam?
The voltmeter.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on. So just looking at it, and it's something when Deacon is sitting on my bike. First of all, I can't see my dashboard, and I can't see the lights, you know, unless it's at night. So I never know whether or not to turn the signal lights off. And I had one guy right behind me for 30 miles and finally pulled up alongside. He says, you know, you got to push this button to make it stop. So he knew bikes better than I did, I guess, because I normally just stick my arm out, you know. So anyways, so what he's done, well, see here he's got a little voltmeter. Is that just a flat piece of whatever, or is there some depth behind it?
There's some depth behind it.
Okay.
I had to cut a little square hole in it.
Okay. And then you also have 2 USB ports for your devices, like your phone or something, to keep the power up going on it. And it's got a waterproof enclosure. And if it starts raining...
I use the voltmeter because if you've got the heated jacket, heated gloves, you got your headlights on, you want to know that it's still charging.
Okay, and that's why you like the LED tail lights. That's a good sign. Okay, so Ron is talking about his voltmeter and why he has it.
If you're running heated gear, if you're running your lights, all of that kind of stuff at the same time.
Which is why you want LEDs, because they take less power.
LEDs take less power. But you want to know that you're still charging, because otherwise it'll drain the battery.
Okay.
So I put the voltmeter on there, and then that way if I see that I'm going over, then I have to cut something.
Now when it's charging, is it at 14.7 volts? Which is
I
typical
think
for
anything
lead
over
acid?
13.8 is actually
Just charging. Okay. All right, because a
So that's why I
12-volt
have-
battery at 12 volts is actually a dead battery.
Yes.
Um,
You can see this one's.
now, let me, is the tail light, did you switch to LEDs back here?
No, that's just an incandescent. That's just the same as a.
You know, I kind of like
Stop
those
them.
flashy things that bicycle guys wear. That would be a good thing to have.
I had on my KLR. I know KLR. But I had one that whenever you pushed on the brake pedal, it flashes, and then it comes on solid.
Okay.
I'd kind of
I've seen
have
that.
one like that.
And I've seen guys that had flashy lights on the front all the time while they're driving. And that seems,
Modulated headlight.
yeah.
You can't do that with HIDs.
Okay.
It has to be incandescent. I guess you could probably do it with an LED, but you can't do it with them.
Okay. So one other thing, I briefly, before, I don't know, where was I? Oh, I was talking about how on I can't see the signal lights. Then I went back over here and you interrupted me and wanted to talk
Yes.
about the voltmeter. And I wanted to talk about
I'm sorry.
these guys. All right, so when you do a left turn signal, he found this LED tape or strip of LEDs at AutoZone, and when you turn these things on, then you see these things are going. So I was thinking I could get these same things, tap them into my signal lights, because you don't have your signal lights are not working.
How come they're not working? They should be.
Do you have? Do you have
That
to?
one's on. See if that other one's working. That one's
No.
working?
You have no front signal lights.
I'll have to take that headlight off.
Oh crap.
Find out what's going on.
We have a design problem. Okay, anyway, so I was thinking this would be kind of cool to have, but maybe put a strip of it either around the handlebar, you know, say maybe right here to let me know when something's flashing, or maybe stick it right on top of my hydraulic cylinders, you know, and then I could see
Maybe in
some.
here.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that's a good thing. Do less wiring over here, but this would be a good thing. Put it right on the inside, and then I could see that. So I'd like to do that. Maybe we can go get some tomorrow and play with it,
Okay.
unless we want to go riding. Then it's the only thing. Oh yeah, he took the normal cluster, which of course stock is sitting on here somewhere, whatever mounts. I've never taken it off, so we'll see. But he was able to lift that up and aimed it right at his face so nothing there changed, and there was enough cables and everything to do what you needed to do. Because it's an electronic speedometer, right?
Yeah.
An electronic tack and all that other stuff.
There's no cable running to it. It's electronic cable.
Oh, anyway, this is a speedometer, and this is a tachometer. Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, and then you got this part, and that's your controls for your heated gloves and your heated jacket.
And
And
they come out over here. The
All right.
white one's for the jacket, and the black one's for the gloves.
all right,
The lighter colored one is for white, and the black one is for black.
they look well for me. Oh, I see. That's gray and dark.
And they have separate lights.
Oh, I see.
They
When they're
flash.
turned on?
The more you turn it on, the more the light stays on.
So if they're at temperature, does the light go off, or it stays on all the time?
There's no temperature involved in it. You just put it on for how much you want
Time?
heat. For how much heat you want.
Oh, okay.
So if it's not very cold outside, you just have it where it's flashing slowly.
Okay.
It just pulses the vest instead of waiting for
All right,
a
let's see. What else do we have here that we didn't talk about? Oh, I know. Maybe we did. But you know, when we put the guards, when we put these lower pegs on, did we talk about that at all at the same time, or did we do that later? I think we did this later. But anyway, on mine you see from Nicola in P-Run Moto, he's got this guard that goes over, and the master cylinder kind of hangs out a little bit. And it's because we had to slide the master cylinder back when we lowered the foot peg, and we had to put a little bit longer bolt in here. Ron has a similar thing going on, some sort of plastic piece that goes over. But you see, there's nothing hanging out over this, and the reason is go ahead and tell me what you did.
I took the brake pedal off. It's usually screwed on top. I took it off, and then I ground down clearance around the arm and put it on from the bottom.
Okay.
That way it allows you to, whatever that length is.
All right, so basically
Three-quarters
you
of the
lowered the
axle.
brake pedal just by moving the bear trap part down.
Then you can raise the brake arm back up, and you can slide the master.
All right, you can see that right here, what he talked about. He cut these two teeth off here, so it would fit around that. And somewhere, Nicola has sent me some aluminum parts. Let me go over and look. I'll have to cut this video out of me walk around looking for parts, but bet you they're in here. All right, another little package. Thank you, Nicola. If you see this, we're thanking you again. Here's all the extra parts from the that comes through. This is the rally raid part. This is Nicola's shaft, but you use his bolt. So wherever that is, you can grab that out of there and put it in here. And yeah, let me show you that bolt. I mean, I'm going off a little bit, but it's just only because of. All right, see, here, hold that camera. All right, so this is the first one he sent me, and he said, "Can you try it out on your bike?" And so I did, and you see, this one is longer than this one, So this is the latest and greatest length. It's been cut down short. He did some sort of zinc thing to it, whatever, to make it fit perfectly. So that's going to go on the bike soon. And some other spacers it has to do with another bike. I think it's a 990 that these things are for. Oh, but in here, since we're talking about the brake pedal, he sent me enough of these little aluminum pieces for everybody here in Colorado, including Ron. And oops. So some people have said that when you're traveling along, you'll hit a rock down here, and you'll bend this thing backwards. The brake. Oh, give me that washer.
Nope.
Let's put that in there too.
Keep that and make them remember later.
Yeah. Put this on the bed. All right. So these guys.
Or a bear to get out of the package.
All right. So he cut these out, and he shows a picture. If you go to prunmoto.com. Actually, is it just Pirun? Where's the?
I think it's Pirun Moto, but I'm not positive.
Where's my rack extension? What do we do with it?
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
it's right
Here's the.
All right, right there. See, prunmoto.com. Or Pirun. All right. So this guy, evidently, we are supposed to weld this to the bottom of this brake lever and put a fillet of weld right here, and this will keep it from getting bent over. So if you do this modifications to it, you will not be able to do what Ron was just describing on his setup.
It
So
would be more difficult to do it.
yeah. So I've gotten used to this being where it is, because when I ride, my boot is up like this. So anyway, this goes here just like that, and we weld it on. So I was going to weld mine up, and and anybody else who came over, he sent me four of these, and so I can do mine, I can do Ron's if he wants it, or
Yeah.
Ken's, or whoever comes by, and I could always modify mine and mail it off to Ron if we don't get around to, if you want this.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there, or maybe I can buy me a spare lever, weld it up, and then swap it with people and whatever. So, I mean, if you're really getting rugged and you're really concerned about it, there is enough report, since this just doesn't pivot on a spring or anything like that, of these things getting back. But I kind of wondered, since there's a pivot here, why couldn't you put a spring here with a little lever going this way and putting a spring this way and let it pivot about a pin here and just have that thing go around if you hit something. I think that would be kind of a trick setup. Well, anyway, so that's another part that we haven't made a video for, that's on the list. But you can buy that from Nicola at his website. Oh, as far as the luggage, remember we talked a little bit. My luggage, I'll be using Nicola's tie-down strap to go here, like that, to tie it all down. What Ron did on his, when he went ahead and used the standard plastic job that came with, if you take off the buddy pegs, that came from KTM, but you can see how this thing can move around, and you know, I don't know. The metal one kind of pulls that away from the muffler. So I would suggest to Ron that he get the Pirun motor ones.
I'm taking that under advisement.
As soon as possible.
I'm taking that under advisement.
So expect an order really soon, along with the aluminum rack that you wish you would have had.
Yeah, I can't afford it.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah,
somebody
you can.
wants to buy my steel one.
Yeah,
Anybody want to buy a steel heavy rack for the back of their 690?
There you go. All right, so let me know. I'll pass you along his Social Security number, his financial information.
All my
You can make a deposit.
all my bank routing numbers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got it covered. I think it's time to. Where's your beer?
Here.
Well, where's my?
There's something left.
Where's my drink?
I don't know. Yep, behind you.
Okay, I think we have a successful video. You know? And it's fun. Where's Deacon? Oh gosh, I think we left him outside.
Uh-oh. Well, I thought he came in.
All right, so let's go put this up on eBay. Or eBay. All right, let's go put this up on... Oh, no. Your helmet. Put your helmet on. Show us your windshield, why you have it the way that it is.
Okay.
Because you just came out here, and so you did get at least 500 miles of traveling on this. Let me pull this down. Oh, it's not going anywhere. 800 to me?
First day was 3-something, and then I probably did closer to 600 yesterday.
Wow. Okay.
It was 550, 70, 67 or something like that.
Okay. Reason I'm bringing this up, he mentioned that, you know, that does this windshield really do any good? Because I've had several Harley riders that say something as small can help, you know. So when you're traveling and it's raining, it's big 18 wheels throwing spray up at you and everything, you actually take this guy, and you can do that on the fly. You can, normally it's down here for dirt, and you lift it straight up this way for roadwork. Oh, okay, really gets up there.
I really don't put it that high, but
It looks like that, a 6-inch travel. And then because your helmet, then how do you tuck in and still be able to see?
whenever there's a truck coming, there's a big wall of air that smacks into you.
Especially on a 2-lane road?
Mm-hmm. And without a windscreen, it hits you right in the face, right in the head, jostles you all around. But I found with this, you put it up higher, and if you can put your visor down like this, or behind here like this puts the wind around you, and you don't get that big boom.
I see. So let's see what you look like when you're tucked in there. How long can you hold that position without straining your eyeballs?
You can pretty much.
Do you only do that when the truck comes around?
Mostly when the truck comes.
Oh, okay.
When the truck comes, you see them coming down. Boom. Just
I see.
under there,
Okay.
and it takes away all of that.
All right, I just noticed something else that you have that I don't have. What's this thing on the side here?
Oh, that's I gotta take that up and charge it too. That's Bluetooth.
All right, and that's so you can answer your phone?
And the Bluetooth, and then on my phone, I just play music on my phone, and it Bluetooths it up to the.
Oh.
To the helmet.
So keep your motor running. Head down on the highway. Huh?
On the road again.
Oh, that one too. Yeah, Willie Nelson. All right.
Got a whole bunch of them.
But what if I call you while you're riding? Can you answer the phone?
Yeah, I can, but I don't.
All right. I could distract you.
It's possible to do that, but I
Look out! Look out! Look out!
I try not to get involved in that.
All right. All right. You're not a
I'm not a phone call.
chit chatter.
No.
All right.
And you can, if your GPS has Bluetooth, you can get it.
Oh, it'll transmit.
Yeah, it'll transmit.
So how much does something like that cost?
Oh boy, I don't remember. 100 and a quarter, something like that, I think.
And will it work
less.
with my
Maybe
phone too?
less. Yeah.
But you got to leave your
Any
phone
Bluetooth.
plugged into this USB port.
You don't have to.
Otherwise, it'll run out of poop.
You don't have to, but
Okay.
it probably needs to be
All right.
charged
So,
somewhat.
okay, well, you'll have to show us how to where do you find this thing? So I guess we just Google whatever that says on the side there.
Yeah, Scalo Rider, something like that.
All right.
And
And then,
this one is an O or QZ. Now you can get them that you can do intercoms too. You can talk back and forth between riders.
oh, I think I've seen that. There's another guy in a Colorado channel that he's always talking with his wife, and there's a whole lot of jibber jabber on it. Drives me nuts. This,
You can do bike to bike.
okay.
So if you're with your riding buddies, if they're within a certain distance, you can communicate
Well,
back and forth.
and so somewhere or another, the conversation between those two are piped into his camera, and so you can hear all the jibber jabber going on between those two. on top of your video, instead of just enjoying the scenery and the motor noise, you got this constant chatter and little things that they're trying to find interesting. But let me tell you, I ask you, you've got a mount up here which is different than the mounts that came with my my mounts. You're saying that's a
this is actually a GoPro.
A GoPro mount.
Mm-hmm. And then I've got a GoPro arm that snaps right into it.
All right. Do you have that with you or not?
It's upstairs.
Okay. Oh, well, just so. But you do have the same type of camera, like there, the Coleman or the TCL,
You get the
and
GoPro.
adapted to this. Okay.
You get the GoPro mounts, and then you buy another mount that's quarter 20 camera.
Sure. That's a problem with GoPro. You have to buy every little thing until you get all the pieces, parts you need.
Yeah.
You know.
But
All right. Well, that's good.
I guess it works. So.
All right. I think we beat this one up.
Okay.
Let's get another toast going then. Oh
I gotta
dear.
get my foot off here. I lost my shoe.
And then he lost his shoe. All right. Well, you can tell we've been drinking now. Our clothes are starting to come off.
Oh my God, I'm crippled. Oh no, I just lost my shoe.
All right. This is the last time we're going to toast. And
It's good.
this
'cause
is
I'm running out of
Ron.
beer.
You know,
I'm Ron.
we enjoy our 690s. I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.